Hi guys, good evening and welcome to day 2 of the HTML and CSS Bootcamp. First of all, let me know if I am clearly audible and visible. Give me a thumbs up real quick so that we can start. Good evening. Hi, hello. Am I audible clearly? I'm not speaking too loud, so let me know. Good morning. Somebody saying good morning. Okay, I'm audible. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So I hope you all found the session worthwhile yesterday, and I hope you all are here to learn something new today. And today is going to be all about the practical things that we're going to do, and it's more on the CSS side. Yesterday it was HTML. Now we're going to integrate some new HTML elements that we left yesterday, and above all, we're going to work on CSS. Okay, so that's going to be exciting when you start designing something, and I want you guys to work with me and to do the practical stuff along with me so that simultaneously you can learn also. Shall we start? Shall we start, everyone? Please give me a thumbs up. I'm reading your comments. So if you have any doubts from yesterday's session, or I also gave you a homework, I asked you to attach a photograph and write a beautiful poem on a page. So if you did that, I wish I could see that, but no problem. I hope you all made it. If you did that and you faced any problem in that, or you have any doubt, let me know. I'll clear that. Let's go. Okay, let's go. Just drop your doubts here, or let me know if you did the homework or not. You don't have to upload the homework. Previous lecture notes would be there in the description, the all-in-one documentation. To place image left and right, we are going to use margin and padding, which I'm going to explain you today. So if you placed it right below the heading, that works fine. The previous notes are there in the documentation. You've done it, great. Any doubts from yesterday, or we should move forward? So I think there are 277 people and we're good to go now. Okay, we're moving forward. Great. So let me quickly share my screen. Is my screen visible to you all? Good evening. Yes, the screen is visible now. Yes, it is. Okay. So yesterday we did only 3 important tags, which is the headers, heading tags, 6 heading tags we have, paragraph tag, and then there is this uh, image tag that we did. In that you used to put src attribute, wherein we used to put the source from where the system is going to fetch the image. And I also asked you a question that why doesn't image tag close itself, and the answer was because it is a self-closing tag, which is fair, but the logical reason to it might be that there is nothing to show in that image. We are providing the source already inside the opening tag, then what are we going to put in between the opening and closing tag? There is nothing to show, right? That's why image tag doesn't have any closing tag to it. Let's see some 3 important tags also. And also, one thing that I want you to be very clear about is, in HTML there are so many tags, and 2 things that I want you guys to practice is tables and forms. They're very basic, and there are other tags in HTML also, like bold tag, italic tag. The main tags that I'm going to explain today to you today are div and span, which are very, very important when you do front end designing or you do any kind of front end development, because div and span, I think, are the foundation of HTML. You have to use them every now and then. Okay, so I'm going to explain the important tags, but there are so many tags that you have to work on yourself. Same with CSS. I asked you to practice at least 10 CSS properties so that you are aware of the designings and how you can change the look of the elements. So there are multiple CSS elements, and which is pretty obvious, right? Like, how do you think our millions and trillions of not similar looking websites are existing on the internet? Because of different permutations and combinations that we apply with CSS designs. So there are so many CSS attributes that you have to practice on your own, but I'm going to explain you the basics, and I'm going to explain you the basic designs. You yourself have to explore CSS, and it is a, you know, a process that goes as you practice. Okay, yes, we will make projects. Tomorrow we're going to make a project. So I think let's get started. My screen is visible. I'll zoom in a bit. These are basically the notes. So yesterday I explained you the heading tag, p tag, ul tag you can use. They are for UL tag, which is the uh, basically they are, when you see any list, you create receipt or list. So there is ordered list and there is unordered list. UL is for ordered list. OL is for ordered list. UN is for unordered list. What are ordered lists? Ordered lists are nothing but 1, 2, 3. Unordered lists are nothing but bullet points, right? So you can always create lists using these tags. These are the very basic tags. The only tag that I'm going to teach you first is div and span. But before that, I want to teach you another tag which we could not do yesterday. It was anchor tag. Very important. Let's see what an anchor tag is. It is used a lot of a lot of places. So first of all, I'll comment everything that we did yesterday. We are starting. I'll write it here, which is day 2. If you want, I can share the code file also. So for day 2, and here I'll write this also. I'm going to remove, and here I'll write day 1, and in day 2 we'll write probably a heading that this is day 2. My screen is visible, right? Li tag is list tag inside which you use. Okay, if you want me to explain list first, I'll explain. It is nothing. It's list. So you just open a list tag. Inside that list tag, we are going to do nesting. How do we do nesting? I want a list. So this tells my system that this person wants a list. Now, what type of list? Ordered, OL, or unordered, UL. We want ordered list. So I will open 3 ordered list tags. OL into 3, enter. So I have now 3 ordered list tags. This is item 1. This is item number 2, and we have item number 3. What is this? This is inside the list tag. You opened 3 ordered list tags. Now if I go to my website page, this day 2, and then inside this there is this unordered this there's this wait, there's this ordered list. Let's first do unordered, and then we will move to the ordered list part so that you can understand better. There are 2 types. One is unordered. That would be better. Unordered list, and there are ordered list. And also, if you guys have any doubt from yesterday's session, you can ask me. What is not clear? Somebody saying it's not clear. We generally write li inside. Can you zoom your screen? Okay, I'll zoom in. Is it lagging? Somebody saying the code is lagging. The screen? Is the screen lagging? Just a sec, I'll reopen it. No. Blurry? No lagging. Okay, great. Let's move forward then. First, I'll give you the unordered list and ordered list, and we can create. So let's create an unordered list first. So inside the list tag, now what do we want? We want, sorry, inside the OL tag, I'm sorry, we want unordered, right? So which is UL. So unordered list. Now inside the unordered list, how many elements do I want? I want 3. So let's say li into 3. I want 3 elements inside the unordered list. What are the 3 elements? Item 1, item 2, and 3. And if you go to the page, these are the unordered list items. These are not ordered. Now just even if you replace this ul with ol, which is the ordered list, it's going to have ordered elements 1, 2, 3. Very simple. But you can create this list and make it very attractive just by adding the background color. For now, jitna humne abhi sikha hai, you can add background color, you can add different font families, and I asked you to prepare at least 10 CSS properties. So using those 10 CSS properties, I presume you have done. So you can definitely practice, make it even better and appealing. But let's move to another important tag, which is the anchor tag. Should I zoom in more or it's visible? Should I zoom in more? Visible? Okay, great. So now, why are there 2 body tags? What? I can see 2 body tags here. Kal to nahi the. Did we do something wrong today? Please remove the one extra body tag that you have. It's not the right formatting. So formatted, right? Now it's fine. These are my ordered list. Now we want to see another important tag, which is the anchor tag. Anchor tag I've already written. What is anchor tag? Just write a tag. Now as soon as you enter on a tag, you can see, okay, somebody is asking why are you adding CSS in HTML? The very next topic right after this is going to be CSS. So don't worry, I'll explain why am I doing this. Okay, visible. So as soon as you enter anchor tag, you see one thing. There is this attribute which has been added, just like in the image tag, like it used to be. There was this src attribute, which was source. Now in anchor tag, what is href? Now this is basically the hyperlink wherein you put a word, wherein you enter the link which you want to redirect to. So when you click on that specific word, you will be redirected to that specific link. Okay, so this is basically the URL where you want the user to be redirected to. Now if I go to, say, LetsUpgrade.in, this is their website, right? So I'll copy this. I'll copy the website, or I'll probably copy the website is fine. Or maybe I would want to open their login page as I click on login. Okay, this is what I want to redirect to. Okay, okay, वो खुद ही आ गया पूरा. Great. So this is the URL. Now I will ask you a question that I want my user to be redirected to this URL. But if I go to my website, there is nothing. How will it be redirected? Am I missing out on something? Please tell me. This is my code. Please tell me the mistake that I just did. You have to write text in between. Great, somebody has got it already. So I explained one thing yesterday, that in image tag there is no closing because it doesn't require anything to be shown on the screen. But in anchor tag we want some word to be there so that you can click on it and then you can be redirected to a new page. Did I write anything in between these two tags? This is the opening, this is the closing. Have I written anything in between? So there is nothing to be shown on the screen. So I will have to say login here or any text so that the person can click on the link, on that hyperlink, and he can be redirected to a new page. So now you will see a button like login here, and as soon as I click on it, I will be redirected to LetsUpgrade's login page. This is how you redirect your users from one link to the other using anchor tags. Now there's sometimes, if you notice, if I click on this, I want my page to open on a new tab, not on the same tab that I was in, because when you work on different websites it becomes very hectic for the person to navigate to different tabs and open them on the same tab, right? So I want this page to open in a new tab. So we have another very important attribute that we can add in this anchor tag only, which is target, and I'll say target blank. Now this will open this login here. When I click on this login here, this will open the link in a new tab rather than opening it in the current tab. If you see here, you can see the difference, right? This was anchor tag. Now I'm giving you a task which you have to do in, like, I think hardly 5 minutes it will take. Do it quickly. I want you all to create. Why is it asking for a login? Okay, let's cite Taj Mahal again. Wikipedia is here. क्या बात है? We didn't see Wikipedia today. Yesterday it was on top. I want you to create exact this line, just this line, this one, quick. No. Yes, this one. This works. I want you to create exact this line, and when I click on tourist, I should be redirected to this page. So exact line. I want you to create quick. This. Where was this? Where was the line? It was this. Okay. Quick. I'll attach the notes. Sure. Are you guys starting? Please give me a thumbs up. You have 5 minutes. Give me a thumbs up and you can start writing this line. I want exact the same line. Okay, great. Please do this. From it to attractions, and as soon as it clicks on tourist, it should open that page. Okay, great. People are working. Great. Start working. You have 5 minutes. Basically, it's about nesting the tags. So nest the tags. Somebody saying please open VS Code. You want to see target attribute. Here's the VS Code. This. People have already done it. You don't have to upload the homework, Dharvi. As long as you're doing it, that's fine. How I wish I could see it, but that's fine. Over. Done. Okay, people have already done it. Great. So basically you have done nesting here. to people who don't did not understand, we are just using a p tag. Inside the p tag, I will paste this line simply. This simple line I'll paste inside the p tag, and I'll format it first. And then I want tourist word to be, now I'll do enter here. I want the tourist word to be a link, right? So I will wrap it. I I'm sorry guys, am I visible? Am I visible now? Hello, hello, hello. Audible? Am I audible? My screen has been shared. Let me ask the team to add it on YouTube, okay? Wait, wait, wait. I'll ask them to share it on YouTube. Yes, yes, guys. Just a second. I think it's added now. Okay. Added, added. Okay. So yeah, where were we? So I have to wrap this in an anchor tag, right? So I will add an anchor tag here. Just a second. If you are a beginner, I want you to understand the nesting of elements very clearly, because it's going to be very important in the long run. Because when we work on divs, mostly what happens is you have to see the relationship between the divs, like the parent div, the child div, first children, second children, indexing, which I'll explain definitely, but I want you to understand it better. So for now, I will add the let's upgrade page only, which we copied like this, like so. And if you see on the front page, this is the website. So So this tourist is now a link, and when you click on it, you will be redirected to Let's Upgrade page. If you want it to be redirect to open in a new tab, you will say target blank. Okay, very simple. Now let's open the notes and see if you're missing out on something, or we can move to CSS, which is the most important part. Where are our notes now? Not here. Yes. Notes are on this page, not on this page, not on this page, not this. Have we closed our notes? Yes, here it is. Notes are visible now, I guess. Is the screen freezed? Is the screen freezed? Somebody said it. Am I visible now? Okay, we're done with a attribute, we're done with href, source, everything was explained yesterday. ID and class, one more thing I'll explain real quick, but I will explain it more during CSS. I think I'll explain it during CSS only. Let me first introduce CSS, then I will introduce div and span, so that I can show you differences by using different colors and themes. You can see better differences, right? Okay, let me know if it buffers and you miss out on something. Okay, let's start with CSS. A very brief introduction again. The CSS is nothing but cascading style sheets. We've already done a little bit of CSS yesterday, which is adding height, adding width, different font sizes, different font family that I asked you to practice at home. So the very important thing from interview perspective is there are three types of CSS. Okay, I'll write it down. I think I'll write it down in the code itself so I can share the files with you. We're talking about CSS. There are mainly three types of CSS. The first type is internal. Second type is external. And I want you guys to tell me, out of these three, what type of CSS we used yesterday or we have used till now. What type of CSS is this? In the style attribute, what type of CSS is this? Can you guess out of these three types? These three types. This is inline, great. So we are using inline CSS till now, and now I'm going to introduce you two more types of CSS, which is internal and external CSS. And first of all, if you're a beginner, you might ask me this question, or it might come up to you that why are there three types of CSS? Inline was doing its job, right? Now we have written this much of code, and it is probably not even half of the page of our website, right? Now assume, or now just think about a big website like Amazon, Myntra, or not even e-commerce, any website. Just think about their data, just think about their styling, even colors, background colors, text, box shadows, borders, etc., etc., animations, responsiveness. Think about the styles that are being used in that file. Now, do you think it is a good idea to integrate HTML and CSS in the same line? And then when you have to debug something, or when you have to change the styling, you have to go through every single element and its styles. Rather than that, we segregate the CSS usage. Now this also might come up to you. Okay, I'll ask this question a little bit later so that you can answer me if you understand better. Inline CSS we are already using, which is inside the style attribute, right? External CSS is using an external file for CSS and integrating it in your HTML. Very better. And internal CSS is using CSS, not using, writing CSS in the style tag. Just focus. Here we are using it in style attribute. Now there is a dedicated tag called style tag, just like this body tag or head tag. Just like this, there is a dedicated style tag inside which we put the CSS. And where do we put it generally? We put it above in the header part, because everything that we put inside the body is something to be shown on the screen. We don't want CSS to be shown on the screen. We want the CSS features to be integrated in the HTML elements. So here in the header tag or below the header tag, usually we do it inside the header tag, which is the best practice. You use style tag like so. Okay, so I think inline you already know. I'll give you a very short example of inline CSS first. So first let's do inline. So for inline CSS, I'm not reading the comments, I'm sorry. Am I missing out on something? No doubts. Okay, so in inline CSS, let's say I have not explained you div right now, so let me just give you a very basic example. Paragraph, and inside the paragraph, hello, I am using inline CSS. Now this paragraph, I'll use style attribute, not tag. I'm using style attribute. So I'll use style attribute and I'll say color yellow and background color. So you see there are so many styles. I want you to understand all of them, which I cannot explain here because it cannot be manually explained in just 3 days. So I want you to explore all of it. I'll explain the important ones which are used in daily lives or which are important from the interview point of view, right? So I'm saying background color. Let's say the background color should be purple. Okay, now if I go to my website here, this is using inline CSS, right? Now let's comment this out and let's move. For now I'll close this so that it's visible better. Now we're going to use internal CSS. In the internal CSS we are going to use another p tag, and inside that p tag I will say I am using internal CSS, and here I'm not going to use style attribute. What were we using in internal CSS? We were using the style tag. Where did we put the style tag? Here. Now my question to you is, how is my system? Okay, let me just give the style first. Let's say I'll say paragraph. Sorry, what was the style? Color yellow. Now tell me one thing. How is my system going to know that this yellow color has to be given to that specific paragraph? Right? Are you getting these doubts or you have the answer? Yes, we will describe the tag name. So how do your teachers know your name? Your name, it was there in the question itself. You have a name, or you either have a roll number, or you have an ID or anything, but you have a tag or a label, right? So this p tag might be having a label. It does have a label which is p tag. So either I can target directly that to all the p tags give color yellow. Now that would be a little bit hectic. Why? Because it will then give yellow color to every p tag, right? So first of all, let's talk about two things, which is class and ID. Okay, here if you see, to this p tag I'm not giving style attribute. Now I'll give this a class. I will say class, इसकी class हम देंगे paragraph, right? So now if I move in the header part, I will say every element that has class, and how do I call it? Dot paragraph, like so. Okay, every element that has paragraph as a paragraph has a as a class, I want you to change its color. So now I'll say paragraph class, for paragraph class, change its color to yellow. Let's change the color to black. It's already black. Alice blue, and change its background color to, let's say, yeah, Alice blue would be visible on blue, right? So now I have told my system that any element that has a class called class called paragraph, fetch it, and to that element give these styles. One more thing. Okay, I'll explain it after I explain ID. So now I have told my system. Now let's see if it is there. Yeah, it is there. This is the color Alice blue. Has it picked? Yeah, it has picked Alice blue, which is not differentiated much. So it has picked the color Alice blue and background blue. So it has picked that element which had the class paragraph. Now a div might have the same class, or a header might have the same class. So it will give those attributes to each and every class, each and every element that has that class, right? Now there is another thing called ID. Now I can give it another attribute, which is ID. The only difference between class and ID is ID can be given to only one element, right? And class can be given to multiple elements. For example, if you see on Amazon, you see many products, a shirt, a pants, or blazer or anything that you material that products that you see, they're on the same card, right? Now that card has the same exact same CSS applied to it, right? So for that class is called in every single card. That's it. One time you have defined the styles, and now those styles will be used multiple times in wherever you want the same styles. As simple as that. So here I will use, instead of giving a class, I will give it an ID, and that ID cannot be accessed by any other element. So when I say fetch ID paragraph, it can fetch only this paragraph and no other paragraph can be fetched, or not even any other element for that matter. So you can always call in the CSS, rather than calling with I class, you can always call using hash paragraph, and then you can give the styles. Okay, you can explore it on your own, not much of a difference. One more thing, if you notice, when I did, although for putting comments we do control plus, like if I have to put a comment, I will say control plus slash, or control plus slash I use again because we use VS Code. But if ever asked in an interview, never say control plus slash. There are different comments for different languages that you do. So in HTML, this is how you put a comment. You have to learn this format. And in CSS, if you notice, whenever I put comment, it is like star slash star and star slash. Okay, so this is important. And the next is very important. Next and very important is using external CSS. And then I have a very important question for you all that you want and you have to learn if you're going for an interview, and it is one of the most asked questions. We have external CSS. Let me know if you have any doubts. No doubts? Somebody's asking iframe tag. Okay, so iframe is nothing but integrating different videos, especially to your page. I can, okay, if you want me to explain iframe, I can give you. If you go to YouTube, okay, let's search any let's upgrade video that's already existing. So let's open this one. Oh, it's only. Let's open something that was already put on. Yeah, this is fine. And then when you go to I think share button, you see there is an embed option. This you just have to copy. There would be a copy option. Yeah, there's a copy option. Now if I go to my code, I'll show you something. You paste it and you format the document. You see this iframe tag that YouTube gives you. This tag you're asking about, right? This is not for nothing but playing a live video on your page. So this iframe, that video that YouTube has given me, it has different attributes, if you notice, and it has the source of the video. Now if I go to my web page, why have I had so many pages now? Pehle to nahi the. I have lost my own page now. This is my website. So now if you see, there is this video on our website. So this is how you can add videos to your websites using iframe tag. I hope it's clear. Basically, HTML tags are not that hard to learn, but they're very important to learn. Any doubt? Clear? Okay, thanks. Can we move forward? Okay, it's actually taking these tabs as different tabs. So let's close it because I'm getting confused in so many tabs. Much better now. Okay. Now let's go to the code again. Let's continue. This was iframe. Let's keep it. let's do the external CSS part first. Now, a quick overview. Internal CSS is something that you do using style tag and not style attribute. And in inline CSS, we use style tag in the very opening of that tag. Somebody saying you're lagging. Is the video lagging? Somebody has said it. Okay. So external CSS very important. Please don't get confused. So here we write CSS in a different file altogether, and we integrate that file in our HTML. The best way that we can find. Why is it the best way? Can anybody tell me? Obviously, because it is better to keep every file separated in your code so that it's very easy to debug and it's very easy to spot different characteristics of the code, right? So with like in every company, this is the only thing that we use. We use external CSS. We write all the CSS in an external file, and then we integrate that file in our HTML. How do we do this? If you see, I've written here using an external file for CSS and integration in your HTML. Let's create a file now because we would want an external file. I would say style.css, the most common name that you do. But if you notice, I gave it an extension and I did enter. And the irony here is that, or the catch here is, in this file, I do not have to use any style attribute and or style tag. Can you tell me why? I'll just straight away write dot paragraph and give it color red, give it color red and background color, let's say pink. Now, I want you guys to tell me, both codes are separated, okay, but I did not understand if you understood it. Because of the extension, the very fair answer that I could find, great answer, because now my system already knows that this is CSS, right? Why were we using style attribute and style tag in the first place? Because to tell our system that this is not a text to be printed on the screen. This is styling, this is CSS. So we use style attribute or tag, but now our system already knows this is CSS. Why would I need to have a style tag or anything? But another catch here is, now, okay, I ask you another question first, then I will tell the answer. So let's have the p tag again. Let's give it class. I'll give it class, same class. Okay, I wanted to show you the difference. Okay, that's fine, no problem. So I am using external CSS, but it will not work, and I want you to tell me why will it not work. So here you see it's not working. It doesn't have any color or anything. Please tell me why did it not work. You have to link to, great answer. The people have already found the problem. So my HTML doesn't have the link to the CSS. How would it know ki, okay, I have to pick styles from that file? I have to link it. Now the catch was, which I did not explain earlier, is here you have to use the style tag, just like we're using not style tag. You just have to use link tag. Sorry, not. You just have to use link tag. In that link tag, it has already give you a relation which is by default. There's this hyperlink. In that hyperlink, when you do dot slash, you have to pick your CSS file. Now this HTML knows, okay, we have to pick CSS from this file called style.css. Now if you go to the website, it will pick the style. Please give me a quick thumbs up that internal, external, and inline CSS are clear to you, how you integrate it, and then I will give you a very important interview question. Clear, clear, thanks. Great. Okay, clear. Okay, so now you can integrate inline. internal and external. Now my question to you is, what if I give different attributes to the same paragraph and I use all the three CSS in it simultaneously all together? What CSS will it pick? Let's see, and you can also answer if you have any idea. What do you think? What will it pick? Like on priority basis, what color will it pick, or what type of CSS is highly prioritized? Inline is prioritized, so it will pick inline. People are saying inline, inline. Somebody saying internal. Okay, most of the answers are correct. If you are confused, inline is the answer. So every time I add CSS to any element, the highest priority is inline. And if you get confused, I have a trick for you. What CSS is the closest to the tag? What do we write the closest to the tag? I think the closest CSS to the tag is the inline CSS, right? बिल्कुल tag के starting में ही होता है, in the opening of the tag. So the closest will have the most priority. So if I give, like, if here I give style, so let's do it like our uh, flag. Okay, so if it uses inline, we will give it color orange. Okay, and if it uses, just a second, if it uses internal, दोबारा लिख लेते हैं, dot paragraph, if it uses internal, we're going to give it a color white. Okay, we'll give it blue. And if it uses external, it should have color green. Now tell me, what will it pick? It should pick orange color. So it did pick orange color. Great. So this is the very important question from CSS perspective. One of the very important questions. What is the priority of CSS? The highest priority to the inline, which is the closest to the tag, second internal, and then external. So now I asked you, I'll explain a question 5 minutes later. That was my question. Then this might come to you that why to use inline when it is, very confusing. It, messes up our data. It messes up the code. The code looks very messy. The code looks very unorganized. Why inline CSS? This was your answer. Why inline CSS? Sometimes we have so many CSS, we have so many, for example, I wanted 1,000 different boxes in my website to have the same styling, but one box I wanted to be green color. Now will I write every style differently for it? No, I will keep every style same, but I will give it an inline property called color green. So it will only change the color and take entire properties from the external CSS, but the color would be prioritized on the basis of the inline CSS that you have just provided. So inline CSS comes in handy when you have to quickly, or you have to segregately change some styles of some specified elements. Is it clear? Somebody wants to see the code. This is the code. Is it clear? Any doubts? Clear. Let's go ahead. Now, no, not let's not move to the notes. Now, the very important. Now, please sit back because this is the very important part. Okay, one question that I want you to ask you is, now we will be using a lot of CSS. What do you want me to use for now? Should I use inline or should I use internal, or external is fine? Just let me know so we can work as you want. Now you know all three types. So what type of CSS you want for now? Because we can't switch again and again. External is fine to you? I think external is fine because I'm used to external. Okay, external, external, internal. इंटरनल शिखर टू मी इज वेरी हेक्टिक बिकॉज बार बार आपको ऊपर जाना पड़ता है, बार बार आपको नीचे स्क्रॉल करना पड़ता है. दिस स्क्रोलिंग बिकम्स वेरी हेक्टिक. सो वी आर आइदर टॉकिंग अबाउट एक्सटर्नल और इनलाइन. Okay, external, no confusion, you all are external, so we'll use external. Sometimes we will use inline also. Okay, fine, great. Let's talk about two different things called uh, okay, let's open the notes because उसमें थोड़ा सा पैराग्राफ टैग भी दिख जाएगा जो यू ऑलरेडी यूज. बट हमें बात करनी है डिवर्स पैन की मोस्टली. This is inline CSS, internal CSS already done, external CSS already done, style.css already done. Okay, let's see the advantages and disadvantages. It requires additional HTTP. Where did it go? Here. It requires additional HTTP request to load the CSS file. Definitely, you are loading another file. So this is one of the disadvantages, but it isn't that heavy. So fine, works fine. And then there is this styles won't be applied if the CSS file is missing or correctly linked. Now, if you mistakenly incorrectly link the CSS file in your HTML, it will not pick even a single style, and the styles will not be applied to your elements. So this table you can refer to for quick revision if you're going to an interview. Very important. Then we have selectors. I've already explained two selectors to you. We'll be using more, but two are fine for now. This is for class. This is for ID selection. If I want to call by class name, I'll say dot paragraph. Otherwise, for ID, it's hash paragraph. This is universal selector. What it does is it universally changes the features. Let's say, let me explain this now. If in the style tag I say I'm talking about universal selector, okay, so if you see, I'll give you a gap here. In the universal selector, I'll say start and background color yellow. So this will change the color of the entire website. This means universal selector. This, okay. This is the body selector that selects the entire body. So these are the selectors in CSS. Then we have this group selector. This we use very rarely, but it styles to different elements. Like if you want to style to header only, so it will, you select 3 tags altogether that in my website h1, h2 and p tag should have these styles. So it will select like in groups. Then we have child selector. This I'll explain after I'll explain the div. Okay, and this is done. I think we can move to div and span now. Common CSS is done. Now I'll tell you why I explained you common CSS first, because now when we talk about divs, you can see the differences using CSS. I think div was thoda sa upar. Yes, inline elements. Yes, this is it. Now, from interview perspective, this is the most important part. And I'll first tell you the question. The question is, what is the difference between div and a span? One of the most asked questions in an interview. What is the difference between a div and a span? And first of all, what a div is and what a span is. Div and span are nothing but boxes. What are it? The boxes. So yesterday I could not explain you the dev tools also. So abhi isi website pe we'll see it, and isi website pe I'll show you what dev tools are. Okay. So you can either right click, you can find them in the notes also. You can either right click and do inspect, or you can do function F12 also in Windows. Do you see it? Do you all see this page? Okay, yes. So these are the elements section wherein you can see different HTML and CSS used on that specific file. You see there are a lot of divs. So that is why divs are important. Every now and then you're using divs. How do I check. So this basically on the left is the page, on the right is the entire tamjham of that page, जो भी उसका structure है. You'd see this button. This button selects a specific element if you see, and I wanted to show you a div. So this basically is a div. If you see, I'm clicking on it, you see the green border, it is another div. So div is nothing but a container, and that is the div. These are its properties, and they are dev tools are very important for developers. Even if you go to back end development, front end development, doesn't matter, you need it. So you can quickly make changes on your current website. For example, I want the background to not be white, and I want the background to be of this color. It will change the background color right here, but it's not shown because what did I select? This one, right? Let me change its color. It should be selected. Maybe the background is overridden by another div. This is why we talk about parent div and child divs. Let me change another property. Let me give it padding, or let me remove the padding. Let me remove the background color from here. Basically, you can see I removed the size and padding, so it's become so small. It's become so unorganized. So you can remove properties from here. They are not being removed for everyone, they are being removed for you. As soon as the page is refreshed, it will go back. So yesterday I was finding how do I change it to dark mode. I could not find it, so I did from here only. I changed the background to black and the text to white. It was in dark mode. So some perks of being developers, this is how you can do it temporarily. And then there is this console. This is usually this is usually for your JavaScript errors and debugging. So you can see there are so many errors coming in this specific page. So you can see and debug from here. There are some errors. You can see, you can also function anything, like you can say console.log. If you don't know, no problem, but I'm using JavaScript. I'm saying log hello, so it will, okay, there is, it told me a syntax error, which is I forgot to add an inverted comma. So this is for JavaScript and debugging. Then there is this network section. In the network section, you see the API calls. What was an API? Just like a waiter, it brings you the data from the database to the front end. So see, when I open this page, these many APIs are being called. You can see what the response of these APIs are here. It was empty, there was no response. This API was also empty, 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 empty. Every API was empty. What was it? This had no response data. This website was also this. So these APIs were empty. Maybe if I refresh it, it will fetch some data. And what type of data does it fetch? It fetches your JWT tokens, it fetches your ID, and it fetches the entire data that has to be shown on the screen. I hope DevTools are clear. Why did I open DevTools? To show you how many divs we are using on our day-to-day life. Clear? Somebody saying document link is not opening the notes. I will ask the team to look into that, but I will share the notes. Don't worry. I will share some interview questions also. Okay. Any more questions? Clear so far? RGB is basically different. When you talk about HTML now, you do not have direct. For example, you want different shades of red, you want different shades of blue. What three colors you use? Red, green, and blue. RGB is nothing but red, green, and blue. It uses different shades of red, green, and blue and creates multiple shades for you. So it is the code basically. There are also hex codes for colors. Okay, clear. Okay. Now let's talk about div and span. And what is the difference between a div and a span? So div is a block level element and span is an inline element. The difference I'll show you by adding some CSS classes. Let's move ahead. So here you are asking me to use external CSS, which is very good because I cannot scroll up again and again. Let's say I'm creating two divs, which is, let me explain, it is a block element. And okay, first let me explain div. So I'll create three divs and I'll give them class 1, 2, 3. Okay, so div into div dot, let's say, class. How do I give class names like this? Okay, let's say div dot, let's not give the content first. 3 divs. Now in this div, I want to give class, class 1, class. Why am I giving different? Okay, let's give different colors. Although here we could have used inline CSS, that would work. Let's use inline here because why to give different classes altogether? This is more about HTML, right? That would be quick. This here I'm writing I am div1. Below I'm writing I am div2, and here I'm writing div3. And to this I'm giving color red. Oh, sorry, it's color green. What did I miss? Just a second. Let's fix this first. Color. What was the color? It was color red. To this is to color green, and this color RGB. Let's do it blue. Okay. So if you see on our page, we have 3 divs. These another property that I'll tell you right now is border. So I'll give border 2 pixel solid black. Okay, and to all the divs I'll give this border, so I can explain height and width all together in the same part. So these are the divs. Okay, do you see the divs? Does everybody see the div? Please give me a thumbs up if you can see the divs. Okay, you all can see. Now I'm using span, exact same way I'll use spans, which is inline element. I use 3 spans. Okay, so I am span 1. And oh, I want to give the same classes also. Let's give the same style also, because here you don't want to see different styles. Now if you go here, there was the exact same code. I did not even change a single color or a background color. Now what did you see? Okay, you want me to remove the yellow color. Fine. Now here we are, div element this. Okay, now do you see something? Let me add a break. There is this tag called br tag, which adds some space. So you can add 2 breaks, which will add some space between these two. Now this is div, this is span. The code was entirely the same. Tell me why this looks different than this. This was the only difference. Div is a block element, which means it takes up its entire space. It takes the entire width of the screen, no matter how much content you are putting inside it. But a span, on the other hand, is an inline element, which means after you add another span, after a span that you've already integrated, the next span would move right uh, in the same line as of the previous span, because the previous span did not have that much content to take the entire width of the screen. So div by default takes the entire width of the screen, whereas span takes up only the width as per its content. Okay, so div is block, span is inline. Not much of a difference. This was very important. That's why I made you do some CSS. The border property that I just explained is 2 pixel. Now another important thing that I want to explain is sizes. I think it's already there in the notes, so I can open there only. So these are some block level elements which take up the entire width. If you write a paragraph tag, it will take the entire width. If you write H1, H6 full width, and unordered list or ordered list full width, div full width. Whereas span will move to the same line one after the other. Hyperlinks can also, like one link, another link, you can put in the same line. Strong and EM are for bold and italic formatting. They are also inline elements. Okay. Now I think we already have types done, selectors done, properties I am doing together. Properties के लिए I will not give a dedicated time. I'm explaining you the properties all together. Okay. This is how you put values. Red 16 pixel, we were already a lot ahead than this. This is already explained. Property and value already explained. We are much ahead of this. Yes, this is what I'm explaining. So border 2 pixel solid black, what it does is solid border, which means you can also make a dotted border. So inside the solid there are so many sub features, so you can make it dotted also. So when you go to this is the dotted border if you want. Okay, and 2 pixel means 2 pixel border. This is what I'm trying to explain. I want that notes section, otherwise I'll explain. We have REM, we have pixels, we have EMs also. Font families you all can explore on your own, right? Font families, Arial, if you've used Word also, Microsoft Word, you already have seen so many fonts. So this is nothing but different font families. But basic difference you should know, like in Times New Roman, you have similar decorative strokes. You can always refer to these notes, very basic. Font size, yes, this is what I was looking for. This screen is visible, I hope. Screen is visible. Yes, I can see the screen. Okay. So these are the 4. After this, I have very important questions which might be asked in your interviews also. These are the 4 basically font sizes that we use. You can either give the font size in pixels or in EM or in REM or in percentage. Now, to the same div that we worked on right before this. So let's do one thing. I will remove every other div that we're using. We will keep only one div, which is div 1, and I'll comment out the rest of it. And I'll comment out every span also. Let's work on this div. Okay. Let's beautify this div. Now I can give it some class. So maybe I would prefer removing this from here. I would say class is equal to div1. Okay, I'll give it div1 class. Here I go to my CSS. I will write another property div1. Now here I'm going to give styles to my div1. Okay, so okay, let's first give it some height and width. Height 4 pixel. No, 4 is very short. Let's say 400 pixel. And width also 400 pixels. Okay, this is my div. Okay, now we cannot see any border, so let's say border 2 pixel solid. solid, let's say green. You can always pick colors from here also. If you click now, you can pick as many colors as you want. So this is my div. Can you see all, can you all see the div on the screen? This is my div now. Now this, what pixel is, this is the difference that we're using. What type of fonts we use? We either use pixels, or we use em, or we use rem, or we use percentage. Now I customize my div, I modified it. Pixel is basically fixed. Pixel on a phone screen, pixel on a laptop screen are same. So 4 pixel on a phone screen, 4 pixel on a laptop screen are same. Can you tell me why is it not advised to use pixels? Quick. Can you tell me why is it not advised to use pixels? Quick guys, quick. This is a small unit. It, yes, it changes according, it doesn't change. It doesn't change. That's what I'm saying. Pixel is fixed. So just think like this. In my laptop screen, this div is looking perfectly fine, right? It's looking green border, perfectly fine, visible, the entire data is visible. Now, what if I open this exact website on my phone? This is going to take up this much space only. 400 pixel on a phone would go out of the phone screen. If you put your phones in this div, it's going to go out of the screen because pixel is fixed. So it's not advised to use pixels. It doesn't make your website responsive at all. But sometimes you can use it, like in the font size. Okay, and width also 400 pixels. Then what is the next font that we use? That is em, which is relative to parent element. Now if I say 1.2 em or 1.2 rem, both of them are same. There's a little bit of difference that rem is relative to the html element, which is the entire body, which is the entire device ultimately. So what it does is, if I say 1.5 rem, it will give it a font size, but when I open the same website in the phone, it will adjust according to the phone screen, and 1.5 rem would be that some percent of that screen, fixed percent. So that is, yes, let me know if there is any doubt. So that is responsive. Okay, these are the fonts we use. Now I have another a question for you. Percentage is something that I prefer mostly because I can give height and width according to the parent div. First of all, let's do some div nesting. Let's do something. Inside this, I am div 1. I'm putting another div and I am giving it a class called child 1, and I will write here I am the child. Okay, I'm the child, and here I'll copy this, I'll paste this, I will change the class name, and the border color would be pink, and let's add some background colors. Okay, so I'm giving background color yellow to this div, but I'll give background color crimson to this div. Okay, now if we go, this is our website, this was the parent, this is the child. Okay, I have given same height and width to the child. अभी के लिए हम child को height and width देंगे ही नहीं, so that I can explain you what percentage is. Okay, so you see, this is the entire div. This is the parent div. If you want, I can remove text from the parent div. We do not need the text. Okay, for now, let's comment it out. So this is the parent div, and this is the child inside the parent div. Now, you see, they are taking the entire width. The first question for you guys is, I just explained that div is a block element. It takes the entire width. Why did the child not take the entire width of the screen? Please answer. Yes, one REM means 16 pixels, but it is related to the screen. I asked you a question. Can you please tell me? Yes, it is inherited in the parentive. So while you work on the front end part, the only thing that you will love is logical thinking, that what parent will give what height to the child there. So this child is taking the entire weight but of the parent, right? So this is how we use percent. Now I want this child to have 50% height and width of the parent. So when I say 50%, it knows that I have to take 50% height and 50% width from my parent. So it will be exactly half of the parent, right? Another thing that I want to explain is, now if I give exact 50% and 50% height to this div, why did it not take the 50% height and width? Another question, very important question. Somebody asking span tag. Span tag is exactly like div, but it is inline. So if you add another span tag after a span tag, it will add itself right after that, not in the next line, until that line is full. It takes, but according to the screen. So you are saying that this div is taking 50% according to the screen? I don't think so. Because this div doesn't have a parent, does it? Can you say that entire screen is the parent of the div? No, वो कितनों का parent होगी, वो कितनों को attributes को render कराएगी अपने according, right? So this div doesn't have a parent, so it is asking me that, ma'am, 50% of which parent? I do not have a parent. And as soon as I wrap this div also inside a div, it will take the height. For example, इसी के साथ साथ I'll explain you another phone that we use. This was my parent, right? So if I close it, this is my parent. I want to wrap this parent inside a div. This, now if you see, if you getting confused, just close the divs. Did I not move it? This is my div, and I have to move it inside this, and I'm going to give this a class that I am the parent. Now again, I'm going, now two things I'm going to explain here, so please be careful and mindful. I'm going to give a class parent, and to this parent I'm going to give height 100 vh. What is 100 vh? And width 50%. 100 vh is view height, which is the entire screen, one page. If I say 200 vh, it will take 2 pages. So whatever you see on the screen right now, this is 100 vh. So I'm, to the parent I gave 100 vh height, this, and I give background color this green. Okay, so if I go, this is my div, which is, what is wrong with my cursor? Oh my god. Just a second. Oh my god, let me reattach the mouse. Just a second. Just, Why is it dancing so bad? Now it's fine, I guess. Let me reattach it again, okay? Oh, maybe it's working fine now. Yes, it is. Okay, we are back. Just a second. Such a dedication. Somebody saying we haven't provided height. Wait, it started again. Please, just a second, okay? Am I audible now and visible? Am I audible and visible now? So for now, I'll use the cursor from my laptop only because I tried attaching it twice. It's dancing. Okay, so I use that cursor. No, no problem. Okay, fine. I think my mic also I removed. So let me know if the voice gets stuck. Okay. Okay, both. Great. Yes. So yeah, where were we? Hmm. We provided this 100 VH height to our main parent div. Inside that parent div is the yellow div. Now, if you noticed something, that yellow div is now taking the height. Why? Because it now has a parent div of which it is taking 100% height and 100% width. I think we are good to go now. And the another child is taking the 100% height and width of the yellow div. Okay, clear? And somebody is giving me a solution, but I cannot take risk. I have added used the mouse twice, so I'll look it after the bootcamp. We already have less time. Did I remove the keyboard also? No, I did not. Just a second. Guys, just wait for a minute, okay? I'll be back. I'll have to reattach everything. Just a second. Just now I think it is working fine. Please, Lord. कोर्स ड्यूरेशन रौनक वैसे तो 8 बजे तक थी बट आई कैन टीच मोर बिकॉज थोड़े से वी हैव टॉपिक्स लेफ्ट Yeah, is that visible and audible clearly? Yeah, it's working now. Okay. Yes, everything good to go? I think it is. Let's move ahead now. So I've already explained div span. Let's see what do we have next. Okay. So go through this. One thing I added in this is view width and viewport height, which is VH, and view VW, which I use a lot, which is the entire height and width. If you want to create a page, single page, so give the main div, give the height 100 VH and give the width 100%. Okay. Now these are the examples. You can explore it on your own. Okay, I think a lot of people will leave after 8, so I'm going to give you a question before I continue, a homework before I continue. And for that, anything that is required, I will tell right after this. Okay, I want you guys to create this website, this web page. Now you might think this is no, you won't like it. In fact, ये थोड़ा appealing लग भी नहीं रहा. You can create this easily. Let it open first, and I'll explain how will you create it. First of all, this that I'm scrolling on is a div. Okay, what height will you give to this div? Just about the parent. What height will you give this? You will give this height maybe 20 VH, which is 20% of the screen, right? The 80 VH is the lower part. So there's this div which has a height 20 VH. Then inside this div, we have 4 buttons. What do we use for buttons? Button tags. Okay, so homework may you have button tags, BTN. You can always give these tags classes, IDs, and make them very stylish. So button inside the button tag, you have to put the anything, any text, and that would be the button. And your button will not work for now. Why will it not work? Because we have not integrated JavaScript. In JavaScript, you create functions like on click of this button, do this, right? So I will provide the link of the template also. This template you have to create. Where should I add it? I will add it in this code file. I will add this code file in maybe the documentation, and just in case you do not have it, just quickly take a screenshot of this. This is what you have to create. This, just quickly take a screenshot, only the first page. Okay, you have to create. Then inside the button tag, you have the text. Now you do not have JavaScript, so for now you can do a smart thing. You can use anchor tag instead of button tag, because now you can have redirecting URLs also. You can redirect to a new URL for home page, for every other page. So just for now, because you don't know JavaScript, and if you don't know JavaScript, your website has to be static, only the front end, no back end at all. Okay, so then you are adding 4 buttons. Now you might ask me, ma'am, how am I going to give this space? So this is where we talk about flex. I think flex wasn't tomorrow's notes, but I'll explain flex tomorrow, because for now it's quite um, difficult. But instead of flex, I want you to first explore margin and padding. So let's understand what margin and padding is. You see these divs? If I give this red div a margin, let's see what happens. I am giving this red div, this is our red div, I think, yeah, crimson was the div. So to this crimson div, I'm giving a margin top. I'll give this a margin top 20 pixels. So it's going to take 20 pixels from the parent div. So it is going 20 pixels away from the parent div from the top. Got it? But what if I give it a padding top? There are so many paddings, right? In fact, in one single, you can write 4 values. So it will say top, bottom, left, and right. So I'm giving top padding. I'm giving padding top. Now, what if I give 20 pixel padding to the same div? The content of the div has moved. This is the basic, the most clearest definition that I could give to you. Margin takes the space from the parent. Okay, padding takes the space from inside the parent. So when I gave this the padding, the child moved 20 pixels from its parent inside. So there is this border in between. margin from outside, padding from inside, border in between. This is this is, if you see, even if you search margin and padding in CSS now, you always see this image online, this one. So this is nothing but border, margin, padding, and the content. Once you understand this, there is no confusion. Okay, any problem? Yes, overflow I'll explain abhi hi, not a big deal. uh, okay, let's explain overflow if you want. In the crimson wala div, in the crimson div, was this div 1? No, this is child 1. So to the child 1 wala div, we are going to give some long content. Let's say we're going to give 50 words, but हम इसका टेक्स्ट जो है वो जो साइज फोन साइज है वो कर देंगे काफ़ी ज़्यादा. Font size is, let's say, 40 pixels. So if you see in this div, the content is coming out, but we do not want that content to come out, so we will say overflow. Now in overflow there are so many features. Overflow hidden will hide everything that's being extra. It hides the content. We want overflow scroll, so it will give me a scroll bar inside this div. Okay, it will give me a scroll bar inside the div. And there is another feature called overflow x and y. So what is x and y? You all know x is x axis, y is y axis. So sometimes we want the y axis overflow to be hidden, that अगर ऐसे में कुछ भी overflow हो रहा है, hide it, because it looks very awkward when you have two scroll bars simultaneously on the y axis and x axis also. Sometimes you want different features, like for y axis you want it to be hidden, but for x axis you want it to be scrollable. So that's wherein this overflow x and y come in handy. Overflow explained. Clear overflow? Now, yeah, what was I explaining? I was explaining you how to create that website. Where was it? Wix, yeah, this one. Please take a screenshot first of all. I might lose it. So yeah, you can create 4 different anchor tags. Margin and padding already explained. So to these buttons, you can give margin or padding. Just maybe just explore this. How are you going to give margin? How are you going to give padding? And give them the spacing, because when you explore margin and paddings, you will you'll have some doubts, and then we can talk about flex, which is very easy. Then this inquire button, this is nothing but a button, but it is very decorated. And there is this thing called, when I hover on this inquire button now, it's changing the color. This is called pseudo classes, that I'll explain tomorrow, that on hover what I have to do. Now you will think that this is JavaScript. No, some dynamic features are also there in CSS, which is this either animation or this on hover features. So yes, then these are the icons. I want you to put these icons, and when I click on these icons, you have to show me, you have to take me to a new page. How are you going to do it? If you are smart, I think you will nest an image tag inside an anchor tag, and when I click on the image, anchor tag is working, and it will take me to a new page. That will be very interesting. Then you have this div. If you are smart, and I'm telling you, you have to be smart while working in front end, what you have to do is first think of the structure like an architecture. This is going to be a div, this, and this div will have some margin and padding of this parent, and it will be have some margin from here, margin from here, margin from bottom, right? Then it will be brought here. And I want to give you a pro tip, that always use borders, then remove the borders in the last. When you have this rough I'm sorry, when you have this rough structure with you now, it becomes very easy. So have this rough structure of divs, then put the content. This div, fine. Then 3 other divs inside this div. First div, second div, third div. This has a different font family, different class, different font family, different font family. Done. Then this div, and then another div which has the button. Very simple. Now there is one thing that we have missed, which is background image adding. वो मैं आपको बता देती हूँ, then we can end the session. Let's add a background image to the parent. We are adding background image. How do we add it? You add a URL, and for the URL, I will use the yesterday's picture, star picture. So I have added this background to my div. You see this background image? I think I'll add this back. Okay, let's add it here only. So this div, I have added a background image, just like how you will add it here. Another pro tip: if you want this photo, you can download a Chrome extension. Just searching on Chrome extension, which is adding download. I don't know the name, so you can directly write adding images from downloading images from the websites. There is an extension. I don't remember the name. I'm sorry. So using that extension, when you click on any, you go on any website now, it will give you all the images that have been used in that website. You can exactly download this image if you don't want to change it. So download this image, add this as background image. So I have added background image using, where is it, URL, this URL inside the background image. Then there is this background features called background image, position, repeat. Background repeat, no repeat means you do not have to repeat the background. Now what it does is, if the image is very small and the div is very large, it will repeat the image. That specific image will be repeated multiple times. You do not have to do it. So background repeat, no repeat. Then there is background position. If you have ever used Instagram or any social media, sometimes you want, in Instagram, if you see, you want the entire image to be posted, but it crops it. You know why does it crop it? Because it has a fixed size that it has to take only like 16 by 8. I don't know what the size is. It has to take, or 101 in 1:1 in WhatsApp image profile pictures, you see. So your image gets cropped because it needs 1:1. So this is where this positioning comes in. Either you want the size to be fixed, so it will take only that size of your image, that is the actual size. If you want the size to adjust according to the div, you will say background position. There are so many, I want you to explore it on your own while creating this very website. So we have this background position, we have fixed. So is something off with this our CSS file? I think it's showing something. No, it's not. So background position, you can say absolute or you can say fixed. I'll explain everything in detail tomorrow. If you want me to explain background images, I think it is there in tomorrow's curriculum. But for now, you can say, for this website that I have given you, you can say background position fixed, or you can say background. Basically, fixed is when you scroll, if you see, when you scroll, this is being scrolled with the content. If you say background position fixed, it will not be scrolled, only the content will be scrolled, and that looks so cool to me. So background position fixed, if you don't want it to scroll with the content. Background position absolute, it will scroll with the content. Okay, any more doubts? Yes, somebody said background. Yes, true. I'm sorry, but in fact, background position also you want to be fixed now. If you are talking about in the content perspective, if you're talking from the content perspective, and then there's background. I think from the for the background there are so many that we are missing, so we can talk about it in detail tomorrow. So we have this background repeat, color, image, background clip. You can clip the background, and then you can background size. What size of the background do you want? Then there are so many, so you can explore on your own. There is background attachment also. So yes, this is it for today. Let me know if you have any doubts, and also quickly take a screenshot of the homework. I have explained what all you need in this. Okay, in height value, when will we use VH is for screen, and pixel, avoid using pixel when you talk about divs, parent divs. Pixel can be used for phone sizes only, because it has different sizes in phones and laptops. Use VH and REM. Any more doubts? VH is viewport height. the height of the screen. So 100 VH means entire screen, 50 VH means 50% of the screen, and depending on the device. I think we are good. We are ending the session now. It's 8:15. I hope you found the session worthwhile. Come tomorrow with your homeworks done. This would be very interesting for you to create, and because you are going to understand a lot about margin and padding, you're going to understand a lot about background images and styling. When you style this content, when you style this button, and bring your doubts tomorrow. We can clear it before starting the session. Okay? We're good to go. Thank you so much for joining. Let me know if you found the session worthwhile. Let me know in the comments also. Thank you so much. Bye. See you tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be the final day when we conclude the boot camp. So we're going to create a project also. If you want, I can create something live with you all. Okay. We After all, we are going to create it anyhow anyway. But let me know if you want me to create something like this, a unique page like this. Okay. Bye bye. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining. Bye. See you.